As women, we juggle different roles in life. Wife, mother, employee, and daughter. At some point, we have all been told, directly or indirectly, that we shouldn't pursue something, to play it safe, not be too loud, or too much, or too beautiful, or not beautiful enough. Don't ever let somebody tell you that you are not enough, that your dreams are too big, or that you can't do something. Surround yourself with women who want you to rise, who celebrate your success, who believe in your dreams. Together, let's help each other to rise. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be heard. Divine woman, you deserve to rise. I am Cinti, and I am a woman's woman.
I'm Dawn Richard, a conscious love coach.
I am Paulina Malmi. I'm a mindset transformation mentor.
I am Shelley, and I work as an empowerment and transformation coach.
I'm Charlotte, and I'm an Oracle of Destiny.
I am Benedicte Hersen, inspiring leader and business mentor.
I am Paula. I work as a space curator.
I am Tulay. I work as a producer in the film and television industry.
My passions are dance, travel, and my Wake Up to Real Love podcast.
And my passion is to help strong women overcome burnout.
My dream is to be a catalyst for the healing and empowerment of women.
My passion is to help women to remember the throne of their inner queendom, to remember that they're sovereign, sacred, and holy.
My passion are the projects that I get to create, help bring to life, and then share with the world.
We rise together, goddesses, by remembering our sacred feminine wisdom.
We will rise by lifting others.
I am possible, and I am.
And I am
a woman's woman.
Gorgeous woman, you are not meant to do this alone, and the reality is that you're not. Literally, you have a whole sisterhood waiting here for you. You have my whole team waiting here for you. You have me waiting here for you. All you have to do is reach out, click that link, and get in touch with us. And together, we will rise. I am Cinti, and I am a woman's woman. Hey everyone, good morning or good evening, depending on where you are in the world today. I'm very, very, very excited to bring you this conversation today with Benedicte Hersen. She is a mindset coach and business mentor. She is passionate about women in business and women succeeding in business. She has a wonderful group called Successful Leading Women in Business, and she is joining me here today live to talk about her new program, Consistent and Predictable Income, and to talk about monetizing your passion. So thank you for joining us today, Benedicte.
Hello.
How are you?
To be with you today. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Benedicte, for joining us. And just to give people an overview of, I guess, what you do and what your passion project is at the moment, I'd love you to talk a little bit about what you're working on at the moment.
Well, I work with new women entrepreneurs who want to create consistent and predictable income in a fun and easy way, because I believe that life should be fun. Otherwise, it's not necessarily, and especially business. I know how daunting it could be to start your own business, and especially to land the first clients. I have been there, and I want to do everything I can do to help new generations of women to make it easier. As a former engineer, I help them to put in place the system and strategy that they need to give their business the competitive edge to thrive and to succeed easily. And as a psychologist with 30 years of leadership and experience, I show them how to maximize their unique talent. So they become the only go-to solutions actually for their market, because nobody else is able to do what they are doing in the way that they are doing. So with me, they can attract, engage, and sell on demand, which is more or less the dream of everyone when we start a business. So I'm here to help.
Absolutely. And we were talking about this just before we went live, about how it really is time for women to rise and for women to start embracing their femininity and to start rising as women leading in business, not trying to do it in the old, patriarchal paradigm. So what are your thoughts on that, Benedict?
Well, I have been a leader in industry, and it was the aviation industry. So it was mainly masculine industry. And as an engineer, I was always with men. I started my career, I was the only woman in any meetings and project and whatever for something like 10 years. And so when I started to work with women, I was just surprised to see that people were telling me, you see, with women, they are competing together and so far. But actually, no, it was quite fun. And it was making some, fantasy in a world that was all black, white, black, blue, and gray, mainly. And so it was pretty fun. But COVID has shown us that the world, and especially the business world that our father, grandfather, great-great-fathers have built over the centuries, and especially in the last let's say 70 years since Second World II, is not viable anymore. So bigger, stronger, faster, it's just tiring. And more and more we want to have time for our family. So that's some things that women are asking for, but also men now wants that. And any new company, modern company, has to create a kind of flexibility in the time people can have at home, so they can enjoy the family and enjoy life. I am French, so quality of life is something that I got in my bottle when I was a kid. So it's really something that is important for me. I am a high achiever, so I do love results, but I do not see why we cannot have one and the other, and why we should choose. And as a woman, I believe that we are the one to show the way to have it all, because men want that as well, but they are less equipped than us to have it all.
I couldn't agree with you more, Benedict, about having it all. And it really is this sort of global mass awakening that's happened with COVID has really shown us, it's expedited the whole concept of working from home, working remotely. And I think what they've found is, in this highly incubated kind of environment, is that people are more productive, they're more happy because they're able to kind of work around their family schedules, they have more control of their personal time. And the interesting thing is that this online learning industry is a $385 billion industry, and it is being driven by women, because women are the ones who are at home. Women are the ones who are, traditionally at home and wanting more. I know, as my journey as a mother, going one from sort of a very full-on corporate career, working in fashion, then suffering a debilitating illness, and that grounded me, and me really, it's almost like I suffered COVID 10 years ago when I was first diagnosed, because I was suddenly trapped at home, and I was like, what do I do? My body's not working, but my mind was still going. And then having a child and being in that state of hyper vigilance, but doing nothing, it's like that state where you're watching this little person and you're wanting to facilitate their growth and you're wanting to do all of that, but you have to sit back and allow them to do it. In the meantime, you're sitting there and your brain, if you're a woman that thinks and you're a woman that has ambition, your brain's just going. Yeah. So we all turn to, our devices and online going, what else is there? How else can I work this? And for me, definitely, when I was diagnosed, my main goal was, how do I find now that I can't work traditional hours, how do I now find something where I can be filled with passion, where I can facilitate my personal growth, where I can make an effect on the world and still do something while being grounded at home and while being very unpredictable with my physical state. So that's how I kind of stumbled into the online industry. So it's a really interesting time. I think that with COVID, we're all sort of here now going, okay, so there is another way. There is a flexible way to do things. And
Yes.
I think, yeah, I mean, the Industrial Revolution got us all out of the cottage industries and got us into big factories and moved us into cities. And it's almost like we're going through another revolution now, where it's like, because now people are at home and retail's dying and there's people are out of the cities and we're not as social, but we still need that social contact, right?
Well, absolutely. And on top of that, social has become human, which was not the case a couple of years ago. And thanks to the video, thanks to discussions like we have right now, and thanks to a lot of things that has been done, which was not existing before. Personally, I was not on Facebook at all. I started that, let's say, a year ago, or even a bit less than that. And I was amazed to see that actually you can create real connection with people that you are not in the same room with. And that's new, but that's technology has allowed that. But COVID has created something different in the way that we use technology. So before COVID, I was working on what we call the future of work. And the future of work is how the society and the companies are moving along to keep going on being modern and modern. And so the future of work saying that we are at the fourth revolution. The first one was the steam. The second one was the electricity. The third one was a computer. I remember that one. The first time we had a computer, it was a huge machine that had nothing to do with what we have today. And the fourth one is actually the internet. And before COVID, we were using internet just like we were using the computer. But internet is more than that, is has the ability to put people all together in the same room, even if we are not physically together. It means that the market, and it becomes global. So you are in Australia, I am French, and I live in US. So that's amazing. And we have people listening to us from all over the world. So I love that. I love these connections that we can share with so many people. It's so amazing. And it makes easy to sell your passion, actually, and what you are good at, and what is different in your words than it is of everybody else, because the greatest talent that each of us has is actually something that is so natural we don't even know this is a talent. Yeah. And this is where sharing together and helping people to step up and to be who they are and to create the life that they want to have, to show the way. We just have to show the way. We have everything already, because we have been waiting for so long. My grandma was waiting already to have become who she wanted to be. She was very modern for her. She was born in 1911. So
wow.
Yeah.
My grandmother was born in 1924, I think. Yeah, 1924. My grandmother was born, so she's still alive. She's yeah.
Wow. That's a lot.
Trying to get to 100. So
yeah, finger crossed.
Pardon?
Finger crossed. Yes, 100.
Yeah, she said she wants her letter from the Queen, because when you turn 100, you get a letter from the Queen, right? So she's like, I want my letter from the Queen. So she's hanging on. So just before we go into the questions about actually how to monetize your passion, I do have to cover off the contest mechanics for everyone that's watching. If you stay with us until the end, if you share this live in your Facebook, you post a message about how you are going to achieve your dreams, and then you'll have a chance to win an exclusive place in a group in my inner circle for 4 weeks, which is going to be amazing. And then include the hashtags. They're all sort of in the comments. I'm not going to go over the hashtags. So also that, and then tomorrow we have my exclusive free class, which will air at 11 a.m. I think Australian time, but you can also see that in the group. So that's my housekeeping out of the way. I've let everyone know. Go in the competition. My team's in the background. They're sort of monitoring that, and they will choose someone at the end to win that. So yes, now I've talked about all of my housekeeping. I've got all of my notes here to follow, and I was looking at the live. I know, but then I was looking on the live trying to see who's with us. Paula, as usual, I love you, Paula. And then my volume was up. So if anyone heard that interference, that was actually us talking on the live coming back. So, okay, so Benedicte, please share with us how women can monetize their passion. What are the steps that we need to take in order to really, I guess, sort of finding our passion is one thing, right? But then really understanding how do we then market and monetize that?
So to monetize your passions, first of all, you need to identify it. And what I can see from a lot of entrepreneurs online that are struggling, and a lot of my clients, once they start to work with me, is that the message sounds clear for them, but actually it is not for their client, because people don't really know what they are doing and what is the results that they will get by working with them. So the first thing that you need, and this is really the basic of the basic, is the message and what do you want to sell. Especially when you arrive at a certain age, let's say that in life, you have worn so many hats. And I love the video that you have done, being a woman, being a wife, being a mother, being a professional, being a daughter, being a friend, being a spouse, being all of that. I've got even more hats than you have in your video. But through all of those hats, we have learned a lot of things. So the first thing that you have to choose is what is the most important for you, which means we are our ideal client. I would say our younger self is our ideal client. And so you have, along your life, a lot of different younger self. I was a young mom. I was a young engineer. I was a young business owner. I was a young, I was a young spouse. I was a young lot of things. Yes. But I have chosen business because I do love working with new entrepreneurs. I do love working with women who want to step up and say, enough is enough. I want to be heard. I want to be noticed. I have a voice. I want it to be understood and to get a legacy. So my daughter doesn't have to go through all the struggles that I have been. And even if I don't have a daughter, the daughter of somebody else don't have to go through that. And so that's the reason why, beyond all of the things that I could teach, I have chosen that, because I'm really passionate with women who decide that enough is enough, and now is the time. Now is the time for us to step up. And now is the time for us to show the way so we can create a better and a new world altogether for the after COVID. At some point, there will be an after COVID. And personally, I do not believe that we are going to be at the workplace all like we were before. Something will be definitively different. Yes. And men and women and society will need the woman to lead the way and show how natural it could be. Because for us, it's usually natural. We don't even know it's because this is so natural for us. But for a lot of people, it is not. And so this is our job to teach that.
And we do talk about, I mean, it's no secret that I'm very woo-woo and I'm very out there, and I've got a very woo group of women, and it's about bringing that woo into the business and channeling our divine feminine energy. But one of the things that is very interesting in this is that as women, we have a direct connection with source. Men need to cultivate that connection. So what that allows us to do is to get direct downloads, to connect more easily with each other. We're very connected to the energetics and the earth, even just in the fact of organically our monthly cycle and how we're still so much in tune with, you know, the cycles of the moon and the cycles of all of that stuff. Men have to work very hard. And I learned recently that yoga was never designed for women. Yoga was designed for men so they could physically tune in to their connection with source energy. So it's not they can't do it, but they do not have a natural bang connection like we do. So what you're saying, like about we're the leaders, we're the visionaries, we are the creatrix, you know, we create, we vision, and then men build it traditionally. I mean, the roles can be reversed, but definitely what you're saying on an energetic and spiritual level. And this is where, you know, and I get very passionate about it, but because this was my journey in activating my own voice, this is where as women, we have been silenced because sharing that magic, we were burned at the stake for it. You know, we were silenced. We were taking our rights away to vote because this was very, very scary for a lot of men. And it's not the case for all men. And I'm definitely I was speaking with a client of mine yesterday, and she made a statement, I'm not a feminist. And I'm like, no, me neither. Like, I stand for the divine feminine. I stand for the divine masculine, but it's about the balance. I don't want to sit here and like crush men in order to rise. I want to be here as part of a collective remembering of women, of our power, so that we can then bring back balance and also help a lot of men that are sitting there just lost in all of this as well, because, you know, it's not working clearly, you know, like they need us.
It's working.
No, it's not. They need that vision. They need that creativity, you know, even in the workplace, you know, they need that, you know, that mother energy that we hold naturally as women. And if we can start to bring back that balance, I think that's when there's going to be some really great things happening in the world, you know?
I think this is a feminine advantage. And because it's so natural for us, and because it was not so well welcome in the workplace, and we had to find, I mean, our grandmother had to fight to work and to be somebody with a head, not only a secretary in a corner of the office, but to be the boss. It was really a fight that they had to go through. And so we have learned to silence that voice because it was a bit bothering our environment. But it doesn't mean that today this is not what we need, because to get that balance and to get the word back into a kind of getting results, we have built so many physical things that now what we need to build is a new way to work together and to make it work together. And that new ways to function are usually a feminine mindset, when other way to functions are more a masculine mindset. And I use masculine and feminine on purpose because it's not a gender bias, and you can find that in both men and women. But naturally, women, we know how to do things even if we don't really understand that. And one of the reasons is because we are so much caring as a mother, and even if we don't have kids by our own, we are educated from the very, very young age to take care of others.
Yes,
which is much more complicated for men to do, which means that when it goes to be all in together, it's much easier for women than it is for men. It doesn't mean that they cannot do it, just like you said, but it's more complicated.
Absolutely. And also recognizing that, you know, obviously we are men and women, we have our differences, but it's not meant to say, just like, I mean, even if you look in, you know, heterosexual couples, gay couples, same-sex couples, there's still often a masculine and a feminine role in that. Just as within ourselves, we have masculine and feminine within us. For me, I absolutely cut off my feminine, like my connection to my heart and my, you know, all of that energy that was really tuned into my intuition was cut off at the neck, you know, because I was surviving in a very corporate arena, in sometimes very male-dominated arenas. And, you know, being emotional, like, you know, if you make decisions or if you think outside the square, you're creative in your thinking, you're being emotional. You know, if you're taking, right? If you're taking a stand for something in business and you're saying, no, we don't want to be doing that. Oh, you're being emotional, you know, or you're arrogant, or you're a bitch, or, you know, all of these labels that I had put on myself, so that you end up becoming very masculine in your way of thinking. And what that actually cuts off is that creative innovation, all of that stuff that women are very, very capable of in the workplace, and which is very, very much needed. Like you said, right now, you know, we need innovation, we need leadership, we need creative thinking, because this is like COVID's just thrown the whole world a curveball. We're just like, everyone's going, wait, what are we doing? You know, and it's us that are coming up with those creative solutions and saying, well, why do we have to do it the old way? Why can't we do it? Is there a different way to do it?
Absolutely. We have a different way to do it. And you can see that online today, because you have very, very nice business who work phenomenally, but they are not built on the same thing. You still have some that are built on very greedy and more money and more. But you also have a lot of business who you don't feel that. You really feel the feeling of serving your audience. And so that's the second thing when you want to sell your passion, that's the second things that you need. The first thing is your message, so you attract the right people. But the second thing will be an audience of raving fans, people who are loving to be around you because actually you love being around them. Yeah. And it's more a matter of loving than anything else. And if there is one advice I can give any new entrepreneurs who is watching us today is, don't take a business because it will give money to you. Do it because you love it, because you will spend so much time with your ideal client that if you don't love them, it will be just a struggle bus.
Absolutely.
So don't do it because it's a market. And I would say this is more masculine way of doing business. It doesn't mean that you can sell. Well, actually, I'm wondering if we cannot sell everything if we believe in it. As soon as somebody has a problem and you solve that problem for them, you can sell everything. And even if there is no market for it, you can create it. So
absolutely, yes. And if you can imagine it, then it's possible. You know, if you can dream it, then it's possible. And it's all about the energetics. And like you said, we are in touch now with a global audience. So it's not like I have to start a business and then look within my 5-kilometer radius or 10-kilometer radius to say, where are my people at? Or put myself in a physical position to be able to attract my ideal client. We can literally tune in to billions of people all over the world over this, which is just like insane. And even the fact of working with, you know, I've worked with a lot of healers. I have a lot of amazing women in my peripheral that are all into, you know, healing and things like that. And what we've learned here is you can heal remotely, which is amazing. Like,
yes, it is.
I've sat here and shared heart-centered energy and literally had downloads in like intuitive design sessions where I'm like, okay, whoa, can you feel that? Like, and we're both getting goosebumps and we're both feeling this and we're in this co-creative space. And it's like, okay, this is amazing, right? To be able to see and feel and share. It just opens up so much more in terms of the infinite possibility that we have available to us now, you know?
Yeah, well, I like that. I like that because I have been part of it, but to be honest with you, I don't really advertise or promotion anything about it because I know that a lot of people saying, okay, she's just crazy. But you have a lot of things, especially for an engineer, it's a bit difficult to, you know, spell the message. So in corporate, I never talk about that, but it was my way of working. And each time that we were facing a big issue, I was the one to provide solutions that nobody was thinking of. But to be honest with you, it was not me, Benedicte Hersen, finding a solution. It was just because I was opening to get some clues or some ideas or whatever. I was working on, let's say, an invisible plan on what was the energy between all those people talking about what they want and what is important for them and so forth. That at some point it says, okay, this is it. Let's do that. What do you think about it? Oh, that's a good idea. We never thought about it. And sometimes in coaching, even on one-on-one, it goes again, and all of a sudden the client is, I hear the silence. And when I hear the silence, I know that, okay, this is it for her.
Yes.
This is what she needed to hear to move forward and to tweak something in a mind, in a mindset, in what she has to do, in whatever it is for her. This is what she had. That was a blockage, and it has just been released. And so it's always amazing for me to just hear the silence and say, okay, I have done my job.
And it's so interesting, even just in because, you know, when you're coaching with your clients, and there's always that feeling of, you know, I know that sometimes I've had clients, like amazing clients, that like I'm a little bit intimidated by, and like what they want to work with me, and I get all up in my head about, okay, so I need to plan this and be this and do that, and then I just have to remind myself, and Cynthia, get down into your heart center, listen to them. Like, don't just be in your head thinking about the answers. It's about sitting there and truly opening up that space with them so that you can truly listen. And that's when I go, okay, I just need to remember to do that, because the answers come in then when you're asking the questions, when you're listening and you're tuned in. What I found is when I'm in my head trying to think of the answers and be the thing and, you know, wow them with all this stuff, that's when we really lose that connection. And for me, that connection is so important, because like you said, you're operating on a completely different plane. So I think in talking about connection, definitely as women, we need that in order to be sold to and to sell to each other, is to feel connected. You know, if I feel like I'm being sold to, I tune out. I'm just like, oh, look, just give me the information I need to know so I can make a decision. But when someone truly hears you and feels you, it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, I like the word experience, because when you want to buy something online, you have a lot of people who can promise you or give you the same results that what you are looking for. But you choose the people you feel comfortable with. Because somewhere, I mean, if you take a 3-month program or a 1-year program, you will spend time with that coach or mentor. So you better like her. Yes. And you better like her energy, and you better enjoy being with her, because otherwise it will just be another struggle bus.
I love what, sorry, Benedicte, you finished. No, I was just going to say, I loved what you said earlier about the dream client, because I think, and I don't know if this is true for you, but definitely my clients always struggle with dream client, because they're like, well, they find it really hard to hone in. And what you said is that we are all our own, you know, ideal client, and we have all been our ideal, because usually we are coaching our journey. And so we have been, and I say exactly that. Be the person, like speak to that person in a way to tell them like that they will understand that you're the one to help them. Talk to them the way you needed to be spoken to back then when you were in that position. Feel into how you felt. Think about what you needed to hear to know that you now are the one to solve that problem for them. You know that you've been there. And I love that. I love that you've brought that up. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I would say that the third things that you need when you sell is an offer, but actually you will design your offer to your younger self, what she was needing at that time when she was struggling.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we sell what we would have loved to buy at some point. And I don't see any exception on that. If you sell what you would have loved to buy when you were younger and when you were not, where you are the expert now because you have overcome this challenge, But when you were just in the middle of the challenge, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to do it, or knowing what to do and how to do it, but with no results, you would have loved to work with somebody to hold your hand and to get your back. And this is the perfect offer.
Absolutely. And it's like when I was first diagnosed and I was sitting there, literally, I couldn't hold a phone up. My wrists were swollen. All I could do was watch TV, and I felt so sick from watching TV. Like I was, like 14 to 16 hour days on my feet, running around, doing all this amazing stuff. And then all of a sudden, here I am with nothing but me and the TV. I can't even hold a book. And there was no Netflix either. So it was like I had hard drives. And if I had the solution I had now, like my whole thing is, it's like, it took me it was a 10-year deep dive from being on my knees, literally just nothing but me and source, going, okay, obviously I had it wrong. So I'm going to now open myself to receive. I'm going to stop pushing, because the pushing and all of that pushing and all that success I achieved, where am I now? I'm on my knees, so I open myself to receive what it was that I was meant to do. And that whole thing you're talking about, purpose and finding that connection, all of those things were exactly when I was thinking about creating this next program that I'm doing. I thought, what did I need? Where did I start? What did it start with? And I think it's just such a valid point of, being the person that you needed back when you were there on your knees going, help me,
Yeah. And there is something that I have seen in a lot of my clients, and I see that in so many entrepreneurs. We have been a lot of different younger self. We have forgiven some of them, and we have not forgiven some others.
Yes.
And so my recommendation for you, if you listen to us tonight, is really not to choose a younger self you have not forgiven. Because each time you will see your ideal client, you will just remind how you are not happy with her.
Wow. That's actually, Benedict, that's really very profound, because you're going to get so triggered by them, right? I just went, wow, yes. Because if you're working with a part of an aspect of yourself you have not forgiven, then it's going to be trigger city. You're going to hate this person that you're working with. You're going to sit there and they're going to bring up way too many things that, wow.
Yeah, but actually when you look online with people who are struggling, a lot of them can feel that they have not forgiven. Mm-hmm. The younger self that has been in that challenge. Because let's face it, sometimes we all have a life, and whatever the history you have, at some point it was painful.
Yes.
That's just life. So nothing to do with you, nothing wrong with you. Certainly nothing wrong with you, but it is difficult. And at some point we are in challenge. We do whatever we can to get out of it, and finally we overcome it. But it takes more time than just overcome it to forgive the younger self, to have been in that situation first of all. So it takes a time to realize that actually all those painful and difficult moments have built the personality that you have today. And if you are there now, it's because of hers with an S. Yes. And they all bring something in your life that makes your life much better, as every day much better.
Oh, Benedict, that's for me. Thank you so much, because that's actually for me the most precious takeaway I have today from everything that you've said. And I'm sure for everyone that's watching, there's been so much amazing information. But for me, that is like, wow, that's actually really triggered a whole thought in me, because it's so obvious, but something that, now I've seen it, I can't unsee it. But definitely, yes. Not working with an aspect of yourself that you haven't forgiven yet. Wow, yes, absolutely.
And that's the reason why in business, you cannot be attached. Mm-hmm. And you should not be attached. Your business today is not the business that you will have tomorrow, and it's certainly not the business that you will have in 5 years, because you grow. And as you grow and as you will start to forgive other personalities of yours, you will want to help them, because that will be much fresher for you and that will have more value for you. And that's the way we build our business. I like to build a business from the very beginning for long-lasting legacy. And so this is part of it. And this is one of the things that I often say to my client. You can go for the avatar exercise to see who is my ideal client and so forth. But niching down too small at the beginning of your journey, of your business journey, is just a trap. At some point, you will not be able to grow more than that.
Yes, absolutely. Creating it something that's scalable, and also understanding, who it is that you're speaking to, getting your message straight. But yes, definitely, I think that is one of the parts, in my experience, people struggle with the most is the avatar and the niching down. It's very, I find that's been the biggest struggle for clients, because they either want to go too small, or they want too finite, or they just want to capture everyone. And it's like, if you speak to everyone, then you're kind of here hiding in the grass of everyone else that's speaking to everyone. At some point, you've got to take a stand for what it is that you believe in. And for me, that was a huge struggle. I mean, owning my voice, becoming visible, doing all of that was the biggest struggle for me, which is ironic, but that's how these things work. So for everyone that's watching, we are going to announce that winner very, very shortly. So if you haven't gone and followed all the instructions that are in there, I'm not going to go through the instructions again, but if you haven't gone and followed those instructions, then do that now so that we can announce the winner shortly. And also sign up for the free class on the 29th, which is tomorrow. Benedicte, do you have anything that you would like to share with all these beautiful women? Because this is, when you talk about serving people you love and being in that point of service, this group for me, I love this group of people. And we have a few men sprinkled in, but it is primarily women. And I just absolutely adore this group. So any information, any gems that we can pass on to them, I'm always up for that, so that my group get as much out of every guest.
Well, I will say that create a life that you want.
Yes.
You can do that. And especially now in the technology that we have, you can do that. It's pretty easy, actually, to get the life that you want. If you put it in the right way, if you implement it correctly, then you will be amazed by the results that you will have, because somewhere the universe will just send you what you need. And what you will need to create the life that you want is really being truly and deeply connected on what you truly want. And when I say that, I mean you want, not your husband, not your father, not your boss, not your kids, not anybody else. What you want, you for yourself. At the end of your life, when it will be, I like to take this image. Okay, close your eyes and imagine that you are, let's say, 100 years old, and like your grandma, and this is birthday, and all the family is there, and one of the great-grandchildren come and say, "Oh, but how you're sad to be so old." It should be sad to be so old. And all of a sudden you realize that, no, I had a great life. It has been so wonderful. And at that moment, when you look back, what was in your life that has made it so wonderful that you want to pass to your next generation and your next family to see how life can be beautiful? What did you do in your life? Because this is exactly what now you can do it, because it's still in the future for you now as we speak. But if you project yourself when you will be at the end of your life, you will have no regret, because you will be so happy because you have done it.
Yes.
This is usually easier to go from the back instead of saying, okay, because it's so easy to know what I don't want anymore in my life. But what I want in my life is an exercise that I really invite you to do, because it will clarify so much. And afterwards, to make it happen, you will need money. That's the reason why we speak business. You will need time. That's the reason why we usually speak also time management. And you will need energy. That's the fun will give you.
Yes, it's beautiful. Thank you so much, Benedicte. They're beautiful, beautiful words. And absolutely, yes, I'm with you. I have a picture of myself as a little girl at about 3, and I always look at her and go, you have so much to look forward to, you know?
Yeah.
And I think taking it into that next quantum level, into when you're an older woman, and really thinking back and going, wow, this is the impact I made. It's the difference I made. It's a beautiful exercise to do. And I love that. So we are going to announce the winner now.
Great.
Before we say goodbye to Benedicte. So the winner of today's competition is Jacinta Gabriel. And I love Jacinta. She's a gorgeous, gorgeous woman doing lots of amazing things in the very woo-woo spiritual realms. I'm so excited. Congratulations, Jacinta. And Benedicte, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your support and you sharing your wisdom with our group. And I love the work that you're doing.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to share that. And I really believe that all together we can change that world. So let's step up and do it.
Absolutely. And for those of you, if you want to know more about what Benedicte does, you can definitely follow her on Facebook. She has an amazing group called Successful Leading Women in Business. We will give you a link where you're welcome to go and join her group if you want to. It's a gorgeous space. There's beautiful women in there, and Benedicte has lots of amazing questions that definitely, I'm always like answering questions. I think there was one where you go, if you had $5,000 today, what would you just spend it on? I go, oh, I could just hit that on a Chanel bag like in about 2.2 seconds. So thank you so much, Benedicte. And yes, thanks everyone for joining us today. And we will see you very, very soon.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And I wish you a beautiful day in Australia. I love that we are connected like this, and meeting people online like you is just amazing. This is a gift.
Yeah, thank you. I feel the same way, Benedicte. Okay, take care, gorgeous woman. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
As women, we juggle different roles in life. Wife, mother, employee, and daughter. At some point, we have all been told, directly or indirectly, that we shouldn't pursue something, to play it safe, not be too loud, or too much, or too beautiful, or not beautiful enough. Don't ever let somebody tell you that you are not enough, that your dreams are too big, or that you can't do something. Surround yourself with women who want you to rise, who celebrate your success, who believe in your dreams. Together, let's help each other to rise. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be heard. Divine woman, you deserve to rise. I am Cinti, and I am a woman's woman.